these people that have told us to come out to be singing the karaoke. We go, last chance for songs. And we want to catch a red hot cover of Elvis's Hound Dog. This is your boy, right here.
Hey guys, Miller here for Black Reno, and we have a really, really cool interview. Some good friends of ours happening today in live session with the Desert Sea. Welcome, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, stoked to have you in. So, yeah, I've known these guys for a few years now, and especially lately, you have been, really plugging the band, going hard, playing heaps of shows, touring a lot, and doing a lot of really cool stuff. Tell us about it.
Yeah, we kind of just the last probably 2 years have been a little bit. Things have escalated a little bit from what we were doing. We've kind of just started to get a little bit of a foothold in some other cities outside of Sydney, I guess, and we've done a couple of more regular touring, I guess. So that's kind of set a precedent to kind of build things up a bit and expand our fan base, and we've also probably in the last batch of songs gone a little on the heavier side, which seems to be being received well. So it's been cool. We've kind of found a bit of a groove, and we're running with it. Yeah,
I'm loving it. I mean, I'm obviously familiar with you. We're all mates. Fuck. So I know all your stuff.
Yeah.
And this new, I was lucky enough for you to give me a little preview of the EP, which you haven't released yet fully, but this one that you've worked on with Lucius from Cog, and it is slamming. It is thick, solid, and tough riffs. It sounds epic. Like I've been blown away by listening to it. What went into gearing up for all that and preparation, and how long did you what was the process? How long did you sort of work on that before actually rocking up and doing it and all that kind of stuff?
We worked on it for quite a while, and we actually put in a lot of time into. We got some demos for the songs, picked our strongest ones, worked on them a little bit ourselves.
Yep.
Before we got in touch with Lucius, and then went sort of through some pre-production with him, had some Skype meetings with him, and went through the songs. So we put a lot of work into these ones, more than we have before, and the results are really shown through in the EP.
Yeah, I feel like there's obviously the bigger sort of heavier riffs and things like that, and the tones follow suit with that as well. But song dynamics and the way that just the progression of it's, I feel like it stepped up a whole bunch as well.
Yeah, cheers, man. I think there was a bit of a sound. Like we kind of redefined our sound, I guess, but in that like Westy sort of was alluding to, that we had a bunch of different songs, and stylistically things were shifting a little bit, and so we kind of we put a bit more emphasis on that path, and we were like, we kind of like where we're going, and then we started going down there and brought some new songs into the page and kept following that path, and so that was probably like a 6-month kind of journey from starting there and then ending up where we were actually starting to record them with Lucius, and it was cool. It was like a little bit of self-discovery, which also coincided with Juzzy, our original drummer, rejoining the band, which was pretty cool because we've gone through a bit of a couple of lineup changes, and we've kind of come full circle. So it's pretty sweet.
So you've just been touring for releasing the single for How to Bleed, and I think it was last night the last night of tour for this one.
Correct.
This Frankie's 6th birthday last night. You all turned up. Westy's eyes were a little bit glazed this morning.
It was pretty hard not to celebrate at Frankie's Pizza. It's just if you're in a band that's certainly a band that's geared towards the rock and heavier elements, it's kind of like heaven. You just walk in this dive bar, they got pizza, all kinds of beers, sick bands every night, so it's very hard not to get swept up in the excitement.
Have you just been partying over this tour? What's been going on?
Well,
has there been a bit of that? I know there's been a few nights,
but mainly driving.
Yeah,
the only thing that's evened out with the K's is probably the beers, I'd say, but both of which are racking up to some astronomical amounts. But bit of partying, but also plenty of music, plenty of awesome bands.
Yeah. Who are the highlights and bands you've been seeing? Like, let's plug some cool locals.
Hammers.
Yeah, those dudes are legends. Great guys.
Absolute legend,
Rip
dudes.
band.
Absolute kick-ass band.
Yep.
Like, I was, I actually hadn't heard of them ever before the week we were going on tour.
Yeah.
And then when I found out about the Rock for Rain festival and I checked out the bands that were playing, I found a couple of really cool bands that I really like. But Hammers, like, I saw their film clip, the funny, comedy stuff with the tennis.
Yeah,
I was
tennis
just like,
rackets and all that.
these guys are amazing. And then met them and they were amazing. And then watched them and I was like they figured we all had to do a cover, like a prerequisite of playing Rock for Rain. And all the bands had to choose a song that had rain or weather, as a theme in the song. And those guys did like It's Raining Men and came out with big feather boas, all different coloured feather boas, and just rocked and did it kind of traditionally at first, and then just busted into the heaviest their version of It's Raining Men, and it was it was rad.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, that's a
It
good
was
time.
so
huh?
good.
There's a couple other really good bands we were blessed to share the stage with. Elko Fields,
Yeah.
two-piece kind of heavy rock sort of band from Brisbane. Big Whoops.
Yeah.
They put on a show. We supported them at the Hey Bar, and then there's heaps.
I and I were good.
I know.
I and I.
Lots of cool bands
Yeah.
from Brizzy. They've got a really good
Yeah,
band
they
going
got
on up
really good things going on up there.
Yeah, they're good festivals and all that kind of stuff. Like the guys that put on Hysteria Fest and then Dead of Winter Fest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just seems to be some really cool things happening up that way. Some people putting on some really good things.
And
Definitely.
Mojo Birding,
Yeah.
how good is that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's-
wicked stuff.
Then you,
Oh man,
then
I see it all the time when we're cruising around, and there's just so much talent that unless you're sort of really getting out there looking for it, it just goes straight by because
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's not like on the mainstream radio
Exactly.
and things like that.
Yeah.
It
But
feels
there's
like
just so much goodness.
Sorry. Okay. It feels like there's a bit of a like a brotherhood of bands. There's like a little umbrella family of sort of it's kind of like between that blues rock out to heavy metal kind of stoner rock stuff like you guys. Then it's this kind of thing happening where there's a heap of bands and they're all starting to connect, and I feel like there's a lot of good networking going on. Bands are helping each other, putting on shows, and a lot of it's feeding down from that Queensland area. But yeah, it feels like kind of like Juzzy said, just sort of a part of something, and it's pretty cool to just discover all these bands and then become mates and have people to catch up with and check out when you go to different spots.
It's it is 100% one of those things like how many friends we've made along the road, especially like in Reno in the last 3 years. And there's just so many really good friends that we've made from other bands, and everyone's like, you put something up and they're sharing your video and you're doing theirs, and it is this just this really cool little. It's not like competition elbows out of my way. It's just it's a really 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 good vibe going on. I find the Australian music scene, man. Everyone's just 99.9% are just helping each other out and just in it together. Which is it is. It's especially it's just a cool thing to be a part of. I love it. That's one of my favorite parts of the whole touring band kind of thing.
100%.
Yeah.
Get to meet new people and have a few beers, play gigs with them,
Yeah, and then watch a whole bunch of great bands.
Yeah, it's a good life. Huh?
Yeah, not a bad life.
Yeah.
Tell us some stories.
Some tour stories.
Yeah.
There's a few.
There's a few.
So,
I wasn't there.
we were.
You weren't there. No, not at all.
Juzzy was there, partially. he missed the bus for our tour, but we went to Albury and we got there and there was I think there was 75 or 80 payers or something in this little country town that we'd never been to
Which is
before.
great for a little town.
And we were just obviously we're not smashing out records, but for a small band like us it was pretty. Wow, this is what you got to do, get out into these towns that are kind of starving for bands to come through, so they can mix up and not just have the same local bands kind of playing around. We met a bunch of people that networking we spoke about. We got chatting with a bunch of different people there. That were it was quite a good reception for our set, and there was a couple of cool bands, and we were having beers with all of them after. They're like, come down to this pub. There's a karaoke night going on. And we're like, sick. We'll go. Catch up with these guys and continue to solidify some friendships. And we went down there, and there's literally 2 tables of probably 2 people at each table in this pub. None of these people that have told us to come out to be seen, and we're like,
Stitch this
what
up.
the hell? This is a full stitch up. And so we come in and they're like, oh, the bar's closing in 10 minutes. And then the karaoke people go, last chance for songs. And we're like, what? Juzzy, not to let the party go out in flames, goes, all right, and goes up and puts his name down for a bit of karaoke. And I'll tell you what, this mate, he can pull out a good Elvis. If you want to catch a red hot cover of Elvis's Hound Dog, this is your boy,
This
right?
is the man right here.
Ain't no little hound dog crying all the time.
Send it, Josh.
You ain't no little hound dog crying all the time. Well, you ain't ever going back. You ain't no friend of mine.
That was,
We're gonna
that
get
was
toasted,
first
mate.
night of the tour, and so that kind of set a pretty cool
Yeah.
standard for the fact that anything kind of could go from that point onward.
So the tune we recorded today is off the EP. Set Me on Fire is the track. Tell us about that. Like, what's it all about? What's the inspiration?
It's about bringing the riffs.
That's what life's about, mate. Yeah.
There's a bit of a kind of reoccurring theme through that EP. I think maybe stemming from a little bit of being a little bit of personal disdain with the kind of monotony that you get into with your day-to-day life, working life. As I guess for all of us in the room being creatives, sometimes it can be a little bit tough to get that freedom to, express your creativity because there's an expectation to do
Do the 9 to 5 thing.
your
yeah.
9 to 5,
Yep.
everything to get up, eat, sleep, repeat, do it again. Monday to Friday, you get a couple of days break and you do it all again. And in between that, you're trying to do this thing that is your passion and your love and you want to create. And there's been a kind of like a societal belief that get a real job because being an artist or a photographer or a muso is not a real job. There's until you're some huge multi-million-dollar band, and then it's totally cool. But like when you're starting out, like everyone's like, get yourself a trade or go to uni, and which is great. I'm not saying don't do those things, but I think personally, I was just kind of, it felt like the colours had kind of gone grey, and it was kind of like just sit at your desk and put your head down, and then it's just reoccurring through all those songs is like a wake up and the desire for the fire to ignite and to express yourself and bring some colour back into that and break away from the sort of the landslide that you sometimes feel like you're on, and that's kind of, I guess, the crux of the idea of the song, and it reoccurs through that EP, like I said. But then also there's it just, aside from that, musically it was just starting with a riff that it was heavy and thick, like you said, and it was kind of like, we can work on this, and so we just started jamming it out and just built on it from there, and I'm really personally stoked with how that came out. Like, Lucius had some really important production ideas as to how that worked out with different tones in different sections of the song, and there's quite a bit of variation from clean guitars to really heavy guitars, and then there's breakdowns and a lot of Westy had a lot of work on some different bass lines.
Yeah, we did a lot in pre-production, and then in the studio sort of came up with a few new ideas and changed a large part of the bass line in the studio. So it was
It's pretty high pressure for you.
yeah, it was high pressure, but we still managed to get the track we got out made the song better. You know.
There wasn't an idea in there that wasn't an improvement, I think, on the original.
Yeah, so what we had was great, but then what we developed just to get something going.
Yeah, I think you need to have that sort of open mind when you go in as well.
Yeah.
Like, go in, be prepared like you were. You did all your pre-production before you even contacted your producer, Lucius. And then you did pre-production with him. And then you've gone in, and even after all that pre-production, you still change something. You know, and it's like I think it's a great sort of mindset to have, is that we're going to go in knowing we are going to do 100%. But then, you know, hey, if at the time something just clicks and it's like, well, let's go that other way, you've got to be prepared to do that
Yeah, we
as well.
started coming up with different ideas, and as soon as we got on the same sort of track,
Sometimes something just happens,
to
doesn't
what
it?
we're aiming
Yeah.
for, we
Yeah.
You gotta come
smashed it out. Yeah.
let the magic happen a bit at times. And it is a bit. I'm sure you've experienced it. All of us, like when you create a song and you kind of like, this is the song, and usually have started playing it live before you even get in the studio, and then you get the producer in and you want their professional opinion, and then they just like rip the song apart and start changing things, and you're like, sometimes from a lyrical perspective, there were songs in that EP where we actually took out a whole verse here and there, and I'm just like,
Yep.
but I spent so much time on those lyrics.
Yeah, and like you become accustomed to hearing something, you know, a specific way, and it's like,
For
this
sure.
is how it goes, and then someone goes, hey, let's take that eight bars of pre-chorus out or whatever, and let's
Yeah.
go straight into the chorus, or add something, and then you're like, oh, this is weird,
Yeah.
you know,
And
for the
then you
first like month of playing it, and then after that you're like, oh yeah. Sometimes it doesn't even necessarily feel right straight away, just
Yeah.
because it is so different to how you've been doing it, especially when you've been working on songs for,
Oh, 100%.
you know, a year or something, or 2
Yeah.
years
Yeah.
sometimes, or however long.
Exactly.
It was also one of the first heavier songs that we
Yeah.
sort of came out with after we got some good feedback on Awake Me, I think was one we play. People like really like that heavy song, so this is one of the first ones that we came out with. And
Yeah.
Well,
follow
when
me.
you
Yeah.
guys, because I didn't see you for a little while, because you guys rehearse here,
Yeah.
and I was like, when you came back and you were jamming,
Yeah.
we hadn't seen you for a little while, and I was like, I was listening through the walls, and I was like, what happened to the Desert Sea? I was just like, they're just like, you know,
Been
just like,
demonized.
yeah, they just like got fucking like more badass. It's like, this is so
Angry.
cool. I was just like, whoa, I'm loving this, you know.
That was
Yeah.
a pretty. I mean, obviously, like it's awesome that like people like yourself that are in the industry enjoyed that, but we got that sort of response quite a bit. Like Westy was saying that another track which would be on the EP, "Awake Me," it was by far our heaviest track, and in the vein of "Set Me on Fire," and we closed with that, and we still do basically every set, and it always got a really strong response as far as like compared to the rest of them. People were like, "Love that last song. Where can I get that last song?" And then we're like, maybe we should explore that
direction.
Yeah, and
I'm
so-
glad you did. It was just working.
yeah so
Really well.
it's been cool, and it was just good to get in the studio, and with someone like Lucius, who's, you know, very familiar with those sort of stylings as far as cog and
Yeah.
and
The Hanging Tree.
Yeah.
Early days.
yeah, so he was kind of like really the perfect fit. He knew that it needed to be heavy and riffy, but he also had all kinds of other ideas that weren't necessarily just straight up, you know, rock or stoner rock or whatever. He had different left field ideas that we explored, and it was
Came together really well.
yeah, we're pretty
Yeah,
stoked
yeah.
with the
Yeah.
final outcome.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's amazing.
Cheers, man.
Yeah, no, it's really cool.
Yeah,
Well,
thanks.
I think we might wrap it up there. But thank you guys for coming in, man. Like,
No, thank you.
it's
mate.
so much fun having, you know, a live recording of you know, the Desert Sea. I
Well,
love the band.
Thanks for
Such
having
a
us.
Love you
fantastic
guys.
room to
Thanks
play
for
in.
having
too.
us.
Yeah.
Look at
Yeah.
this place.
Oh man, you helped me build a part of this room, so
Yeah, there's a little bit of heart.
yeah,
in my-
you came in and lent your carpentry skills.
It's
for-
good
for a
to be
week or
able
so.
to, experience it for all its glory now.
But yeah, no, so yeah, everyone out there, come March, get ready for the Desert Sea. They'll be dropping an EP with some sort of title. I'm sure they'll have worked it out by then, perhaps.
Watch this space.
Watch this space. But yeah, we're gonna have a sick live recording of them playing one of the cool tunes off their new EP, and yeah, touring in March, and it's gonna be all on for the Desert Sea. So
And if you're coming through the northern beaches, be sure to stop in at the legendary Housefox Studios to catch up with our man Miller over here.
Yeah,
yeah, thanks, bro.
it's the place to be.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you. Well, yeah, cool. We'll catch you guys next time, and good work.
Stay rad.